You need to hurry up and fail like a lot faster because failure is the key to every single thing that you want. Failure is the key to success at literally anything. Look, I've made over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K. And I've done numbers like that in my business because I failed a whole bunch. And most people, they have a fear of failure, and most people have a fear of failure because they're viewing failure as a negative, when failure is one of the best things that you could ever possibly do in your entire life, because it's the key to success at anything. So in this video, I want to break down how successful people and the 1% look at failure, because I'm pretty sure that you have a wrong viewpoint of what failure actually is and what failure actually means. Oh, me and failure, we're real tight. We're like this, son. Failure is always on my side, walking by me. Always got his hand on my shoulder, leading me along the way. And it's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break down how failure will be the one key to growing your business online. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you'll probably just keep on looking at those failures as a negative and not a positive, and never actually build the business that you want to generate the amount of income that you want to make for yourself in your life, so you can do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and own your own time. So if that's you, feel free to click off of this video and keep on just doing what everybody else tells you each and every single day for at least 40 hours a week. Have fun with that. But look, here's the thing about failure. Like I said, failure is a great thing, because people, they don't realize that failure, it can mean a couple things. Failure, it can mean first attempt in learning. And this is big and this is key, because if this is what you want to get to, if this is your goal, the only vehicle to get to that actual goal is failure. Because the only way that you figure out what does work is that you have to figure out what doesn't work first. And there's only one way that you can figure out what doesn't work, and that is failure. And you have to brainwash yourself for success, because I'm telling you, you've been conditioned since a little child to be unsuccessful. And you have been conditioned and taught a lie about what failure actually is. And it actually begins with our school system, or our uneducational system, as I like to say, because school, it doesn't teach us shit about being successful in life. It doesn't teach us nothing about building businesses and entrepreneurship. And you know why? Because school was not designed for that. Just a quick little school fact. School was only designed to teach us basic reading, writing, and arithmetic, and then put us into jobs in factories. High school is even a newer concept. High school used to not exist. The only reason that high school even exists is because there was a job shortage, and there was too many teenagers just causing mischief in the streets because they could not find employment in the factories. So they basically made up high school to just be like basically a daycare center for the unemployed teenagers, to just teach us more basic reading, writing, arithmetic, and useless stuff. But that's another topic for another day. But you've been conditioned that failure is a wrong thing from school by this. Does this look familiar to you? I know this looked familiar to me, because I got a lot of these when I was in school. This big fat red F, and then they will put a circle by the F. And this F, it means that you failed. And we were taught in school that failure is a bad thing. I don't know what the grading systems are now, but when I was in school, I had to be right 92% of the time to be considered good or great. If I was right 64% of the time, I was considered a failure. And where else in life can you be right 64% of the time and be considered a failure? Look, if you are right 64% of the time at anything, you will literally be the richest human being that has ever walked planet Earth. So then people think that they don't want to have this little failure, typically, and they become scared of failing because they're thinking about what everybody else will think about them if they are considered that actual failure. This even goes back to the educational system, or the non-educational, uneducational system. Who is always the bad kid in class? Who is always the class clown? Who is always the kid that is punching people in the face for no reason? It's always this kid right here that's getting these Fs. Why? Because he does not want to be seen as a failure, so he has to act out, or he has to punch somebody in the face to show them, hey, don't talk about me because I ain't dumb. Or he has to go and crack a joke in the middle of the class so he can get kicked out of class, so he won't have to read in front of the class, or so he won't have to answer the math question, or because everybody knows that he's dumb and the teacher's passing back tests, so he has to crack a joke or something because he's worried about what everybody else is going to think about him. We become adults and we do that same exact thing because our mind, or our subconscious mind, which is controlling everything, we start to think with our outer group thinking, because this is how your brain works. Look, this is you here on this level. On the outer level here is your thoughts. On the outer layer here is your emotions, and then on the outer layer here is your group think. So we don't want to be a failure because our group think, we start to think, what is everybody else going to think about us? Then here, on an emotional level, we start to feel emotions off of thinking like, oh, that's not gonna feel good if everybody else thinks that I'm a failure. Then we use our logical brain to justify those emotions of fear and not wanting to be seen as a failure to everybody else. And then we get influenced by all of these thoughts that aren't actually us, but most people just don't have the power to control their whole actual mind because they don't know how to brainwash themselves for success, because they don't realize that they have been brainwashed for failure just to sit in the system and be a part of the system and be a part of the status quo, to just have this whole system that we're in just working on its own. Because I know a lot of people, they be like, oh, we're in a broken system. And I'm like, nah, the system is working just fine. It's working how it's supposed to work to benefit whoever they may be. But you have to identify with who you actually are and realize that these thoughts and these emotions and this group think, it's not you. You are not your thoughts. You are you. So how I learned to embrace this actual failure is this. I fired my job April 1st, 2016. And when I fired my job, I had never made a single dollar for myself as an entrepreneur. But the way that I was generating money for myself at the time, the business that I was in, I was cold calling every single day. I was literally picking up the phone and having people curse me out, hang up on me all day, every single day. And it got to a point where I was like, dang, I have this fear of getting cussed out, or I have this fear of somebody telling me no over the phone because people don't want to talk to me. How can I get over this fear of failure? Because I'm not going to be able to feed myself unless I make some money. So I turned failure into a game. And this is the thing. I turned failure into a game, and I wanted to get 100 no's per day. That's failing. I turned failure into a game of getting 100 failures per day. So then I started to brainwash myself to think that failure is an actual good thing, instead of getting down in the dumps saying that failure is a bad thing. Because I knew for every 100 no's that I got, I would get 10 appointments. And this business I was in at the time was a small niche in real estate. And out of those 10 appointments on average, I would get one deal. And off of one deal was making me anywhere from around $7,000 to $12,000 or $13,000. Right, so I'm like, if I can get 100 people to tell me no, I'm gonna make $7,000 to $12,000. Let's go ahead and get them no's going. Because failure is a good thing. Once I took my business online, I did the same exact thing. Think about this. When people are buying your digital products, whatever it is, whether it be an ebook, whether it be a course, whether it be a membership, whether it be a mentorship, whatever the product is, every single time that they don't click and purchase that, or every single time they click off of your video, or every single time they swipe back, that's them telling you no. So you got to gamify it and start to track your KPIs. And KPIs stands for key performance indicators. Start to track your KPIs in your business and start to track the KPIs on the traffic that you get. Okay, for every amount of view that I get, I get this many clicks. And from this many clicks, I get this many customers. So now you can focus on getting the views. And then everybody that does not click that, you're looking at that as somebody saying no. And the more people that say no to you, you will get to the people that will say yes to you that much faster. And then you'll find your own lane. Because here's another thing about failure. Failure also stands for finding an individual lane. This is how you find your blue ocean. You find your blue ocean within your niche in business by failing a whole bunch of time and figuring out what doesn't work so you can figure out what does actually work for you. And you may not be familiar with when I say blue ocean, there's this book called Blue Ocean Strategy. Basically, the whole book is about how you can find your competitive advantage in a crowded marketplace. So the analogy that he uses in the book is that everybody's in a red ocean, right? But you can find your blue ocean over here. And you find your blue ocean, what I found to come out, or if you study anybody that's successful, because that's something that I do in my free time, I'm like, hey, I want to be a successful entrepreneur. I should probably study successful people and successful entrepreneurs. Everybody failed a whole bunch of times. And failing is the only way that you succeed, and the only way that you will find your lane, that you will find your blue ocean, that you will be able to be seen within your niche is by finding an individual lane, by failing and failing and failing and failing and failing. Fail forward, fail faster, you get numbers coming in online in your business like all them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less from stuff that you already know online, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join the It's Crowded at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all of my exclusive trainings, and a private community of entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description and tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But I'm telling you, if you just think about every single thing that you now know how to do without a second thought, there was a time where you failed at it, and the only way that you learned how to do it is just from failing, even from just talking. Think about it. You did not know how to talk. You failed and you failed and you failed. You saw your mama, you saw your daddy, you saw some big, huge giants walking around talking. You observed. You tried to talk. You was babbling. You couldn't do it. You didn't say in your brain, oh, this talking, it doesn't work because I failed at it, so I'm just going to stop trying to talk. No, you kept on trying to babble words until you said dad, and you said mama. Now you just talking, right? You drive in your car. There was a time when you could not drive your car. I remember I scratched up my pop's Cadillac all the way from the right headlight all the way down to the tail light. Big, huge scratch on this brand new black, nice Cadillac, and he just got it. He was trying to show off to his friends. Yo, I've been teaching my son how to drive. Back out the driveway, son. And there was a chain link fence, and the gate had this little hook on it to keep the gate locked. And I was like, hey, daddy, you've been teaching me how to drive, but I'm not that confident on backing out. He's like, man, you go ahead, get behind that wheel and back out the driveway. I'm backing out the driveway. He hears a he said, oh, turn the wheel. I'm panicking. I turn the wheel the wrong way. I keep on backing up. He's like, no, son, turn the wheel. And I just keep on backing. It's just a slow all the way to the back. Nice, long, thick scratch. Literally from like the headlight all the way to the tail light on the whole passenger side. Failure. But now I learned how to drive, and I just back up with ease now. My backup camera, it helps with that too. But really, just think of everything. Even on some boy meets girl stuff, right? You go and you talk to multiple people. I might be giving you my experience. When I was in high school, for example, I talked to her. She says no. Then I talked to her. She says no. Then I talked to her. She says no. And now, once I see that I've just made myself look like a complete doofus and I know what to actually say, she finally says yes. It's failure. Think about when you lay horizontally and play Naked Twister with somebody. There was a time when you was probably messing up some stuff to the game of Naked Twister. You failed a bunch. But now, you just go ahead and you just happy to play Naked Twister, aren't you? You little nasty person, you. But you learned how to do that Naked Twister stuff. through failing and messing up at the game. Now you're a pro with it. I'm not. I've never played the game. I know my mama watches every single one of my videos. I've never played that game. I failed at even learning the rules, so I'm scared to even try to play the game. But I'm telling you, failure is the key to everything. And get over that fear of failure and attack that actual failure, because I'm telling you, most people are at a point where they think that they're failing or they think that something isn't working for them, but they aren't even at a point where they're failing because they're inactive, because they're just simply scared to fail, when that's the key to everything. And there's so many people, and I don't want this to be you, that's scared to just jump off the porch or jump off the cliff and fly because they're scared to fail. And I'm like, you're not even failing because you ain't even jumped off the porch. You're not even failing because you ain't even jumped off the cliff. You don't know if you can fly because you're inactive, not doing anything. So you're not even failing, you're just not moving. And anything that stays stagnant, it dies, and anything that stays stagnant, it decomposes. Like, just look at anything. If a car just sits, it's going to break down. If your body just sits, it's going to deteriorate and break down. Anything that does not have movement is going to break down, except for like a Big Mac or something. You can just sit there in one spot for 1,000 years, it'll still be there. But fail forward, fail faster, and that's how you'll get to everything that you want way faster, because you figure out what does work for you by figuring out what does not work for you, and you'll find your own individual lane through failure. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. And now that you know how to actually look at failure and how it's for you, check out this video right here on how you can get over your fears, because fear, it can stand for fuck everything and run, or face everything and rise. You choose one. It's crowded at the top.